What is happening, Charles?
It's another Friday night, in which can only mean Guitar Safari. You know, Seth, I am hesitant to bring up tonight's topic.
Yeah, sometimes I think you're nuts. Sometimes I'm just not sure.
I just think there's a lot of sentences that are going to be said tonight that could be had a lot of fun with.
I mean, so what? Yeah, pick your poison. We're guaranteed to go down that road. You want to say hi?
I think we should say hi. Hello.
Well, I do, and I will do the proverbial Guitar Safari breakdancing that happens on this side of the square. And while he's okay, go ahead.
All right, so we got first in Herb of Fireside Studios.
Rising up out on the street, I took my time, I took my chances. Went the distance
Ryan
now.
from OU812.
Wait, OU812. Hell yeah.
And we got our Big Wave Dave.
Although currently not in Big Wave land, but I get it, brother. We all move. I'm here in California, although Big Wave's from Cali.
And our buddy Jay Santiago wants to see some real safariing going on here. He thinks we should take down a mammal, but
not only do I have pants, Charles, I have flexibility.
I see.
Yeah.
Welcome in Paul McNeary and all the cats. They decided all to watch tonight.
Meow, 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 meow. Meow, meow. Oh, yeah, there's one cat that's related to James. Meow, meow.
Oh, my. Welcome in Keith H.
What up, Keith?
Our buddy Eddie Fay.
EF.
And Randy Crooks, who is about to start his music marathon as soon as we wrap up our show here.
On his channel?
Mm-hmm. Nice. Well, what he does is he will sit there and he will pick a couple of bands and he'll go and just listen to music all night long on his headphones.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yes.
Yeah.
I get it.
Love it.
Those are the good times.
And we'll be talking about this guy during the course of the show, R2, R3 Locking Nut.
R2, R3, Locking Nut.
And Vox Guitar Rocks.
What up, doodle buddy?
And welcome Symmetry and Ben Coombs. BC Rich 581, Hip Metal Works, Jimmy Bider. And let's see who else we got here. Guitar Man 45, welcome in. Wayne McConnell, welcome in. Martian Murray. Dwight, the Hitman Bailey is here. Michael Krause has made his way in.
No one cares when I'm muted. It's a thing now.
It is a thing. So with that, we are caught up in the chat. Welcome in, everybody. We have 26 people with us. Welcome in, Hobo Rody, who has just wandered in. We've got 26 folks with us. Now River Docs is in with us. Welcome in.
This job fucking sucks, Charles. I've been holding this goddamn tuner all day, and I haven't got a break. And all I want to do is go and pet the goat because Eddie needs to go to the pasture.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
The goat's name is Eddie. The goat's name is Eddie.
Yeah. You wanted the job, right?
No. I came in a goddamn plastic bag from China. I had no doubt I was imported into this country, and I'm a slave, Charles. Please come rescue me.
Oh my. Go pet the goat. Go pet the goat.
Yeah. He's not really a slave. And yes, he did come in a McDonald's bag. And yes, he was purchased at the McDonald's. Or actually, he came free to DreamWorks as a McDonald's toy sample. So I think he might be his first run of McDonald's toy. That's for sure. He's early. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I see. All right. So Jeff.
Well, for those that don't know, I used to work at DreamWorks Animation back in the day. I used to change light bulbs. I used to move chairs. All the important stuff. You know.
Guitar Man 45, we can't talk about the tuners. That is not tonight's show. That is an episode down the road. And I think when we talk tuners, maybe we get Bo to come on with us.
Well, there's been a thing lately in the last few days, locking tuners and how locking tuners do not improve tuning stability. That's what people were saying, because they just make your string changes faster.
About that snark tuner that what Sherman was holding there.
Oh, that snark. Oh God, snarks are a thing.
Welcome in, Zach Thong.
What is that?
Okay, let's just get to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the most important things on your guitar is your nut. It's very important to tuning stability. The nut has to be cut right, and most nuts aren't.
Well, I don't know. I mean, when you consider how many millions and millions and millions of guitars have been made in the last 70 years, if we were to guess, and when you consider how the vast majority of those have been okay play, they're okay. They're probably, I mean, I get it. You're right. They're not all cut to the right height and whatever, but for most part, people get by. But what you want to have is, in my opinion, Charles, is a bone nut. You want to have a bone nut.
I think I touched a nerve with Bo.
No, dude, you will not sit in the corner. You are coming down, hanging in the front row. So I'm sorry, Charles. I'm going bone nut because they're pretty, they're functional. If you over time you have to go further and further, the slots wear down, you can shim the bottom of it before you make a new one. If you're not concerned about a little shim in there, or you can just make a new one, but it's not a big deal. I mean, you can make a nut once you've done it a few times in an hour to an hour and a half. If it happens any faster than that, I'd be concerned.
Okay. So you're a proponent of the bone nut. I know that you take the nut out of every neck you get.
Hold on. I don't, though, because if it matches the guitar's aesthetic, I'm super happy with they call them polycarbonate plastic, but it's a plastic that's molded with carbon in it. And I'll leave them in because, for instance, on the orange sparkle, well, that's a bad example, Charles, because that one does need a bone nut in it, actually, for the aesthetic. What do you think? It shouldn't have that black nut. But the one that went to Ben, it needed that black because it was all blacked out, right? You had the black and the black and the black tuners and the black bridge and the black pick guard. And so it would have looked a little bit, there was no white on the guitar. So it would have been weird to throw a polished. I could have done a tusk, which some people probably would like the tusk more than the plastic, but the plastic, when it's lubricated, you use Tusk or Graphtec when replacing nuts. So if I would have replaced it, it probably, to match in the color, it would have been Tusk or Graphtec. Here's the thing. Messing with Tusk nuts can really bother your skin. So I would recommend to, if you're filing with it and all that, then you should cover your skin, or at least wash your hands thoroughly immediately after, because you could have issues.
Right. Personally, I really don't like plastic nuts, and I've had problems with just about everyone I've had. So I usually, if I've got a plastic nut, then I will replace it with a Tusk nut.
How old though? So that's the main thing. Old plastic nuts are pieces of shit, right? Newer plastic nuts, newer technology especially within the last 5 years, but pretty much within the last 10 years, that newer. And then for a long time, they had that kind of almost baked ceramic. A lot of people's Fenders, guitars have those kind of ceramic-ish nuts. Gibson used plastic. They still use plastic sometimes.
That's a good piece of advice, no matter what nuts you're touching.
Wash your hands. Yep. I think I should let everybody know, Charles, that when you get a Presley custom, it comes with these nuts.
Okay, we made it 10 minutes before you made the joke. Okay,
I know. But I made me want to start a company, right? Because you see them. Everybody's seen the meme where they send around and it's packaged at the thing where, these nuts. You're like, that's genius. It's I
love Eddie Faye's comment here.
What is Eddie Faye? So if you get a bone nut, do you source the bone material from a butcher? Here's the thing. I have been hiking around the house, and you see some deer bone, which might not be the best material. I wish is Steve Munch here tonight. Stephen Munch.
I have not seen him yet,
and I hope he's okay. So anyway, is deer bone probably going to be? I should just grab a chunk and just make one, just to see what the hell. I've shown you the nut making vice that I have. Have I shown you that? Right. Let me show that.
Yeah, I don't believe you directly showed me, but I've seen it in a video.
Really?
I think so.
No, this is not the Stu Mac one with the beveled edges. This is a different one that came from working for Zahn and helping to clean out that warehouse. This is something that came from Bartolini. Hold on one sec. Might have said that I was limber, but I'm really not. Okay, left.
So Eddie Faye is asking, could you use deer antlers?
Probably. Bone? Yeah, just cut out the chunk. But you have to have so check this out.
Let me go ahead and take care of this.
So this can go and you can clamp this onto your workbench. You know? And then this is a fully mobile in many directions multi-clamp. So
I remember you telling me about this, but this is the first time I'm seeing it.
Right. And then you bring this in so you get it to the size. And it's very helpful when you're doing the edges of the nut and whatever. Sometimes you want to get it into just the right positioning and you want it to be locked. Right. So this has been for a lot of stuff. Sometimes when working on projects, it's cool to have. It's weird how you'll make tools when you need them, and I thought this thing is cool, man. I had to have this when I saw it. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so that helps when making nuts, which looks easy on the YouTube shorts, but it does take some time to actually make it good and make it right, make it fit.
I love it. Love it. They're getting. Oh. No, this is wrong. This is wrong.
Hey, tiny nuts are efficient. I'm just saying, you tuck them in and you can run. It'd be much faster. I'm way slower with my huge nuts. But, Ryan does play fast, right? He's a fast player, so. And he has locking nuts, which can be a problem.
Hello there, Ryan Hall.
Really, I'm joking, Ryan. Your whole system is set up like a freaking Ferrari. It's tuned and dialed in and shredding. So no doubt about that.
We've been joined by Ryan Hall and Scott Brockway.
What is happening, Ryan? What is up, Scott? Man. So what time is it there in Central Time?
Central Time right now it is 8:14.
Wow, that's late. It's 6:14, and I'm well into happy hour. Happy hour happened at 5:30, 5:35. I had a short day. I had a minimum day. I was off at 12:30. So, but I did not start happy hour that early. Wait till the wife was home working. She's working from home, so got to keep it together.
And welcome in Michael B. Live.
So who has this is a fun question. Who has more locking nut guitars than they have non-locking nut guitars? Because if you look here, I got no lockers right now. Not a locker in the house. You can tell what kind of style Presley is. I don't deal with that. But I did have a Floyd as a kid. Oh wait, here, why am I still singled out? That's crazy.
Oh, you are. How about that?
That's crazy. Yeah, where were you the whole time? He was the ghost of Charles, and he was just a voice behind us. And
I was transfixed by the
chat. The chat was flowing. It was flowing.
On your device.
Yeah. Well, that's one of my multitasking devices that I've got that I'll multitask off with all the time. Because it allows you to have that and to do another thing with another tool. Multitask.
So does it matter to you whether you've got a tusk nut or a Graphtec nut or a bone nut?
I would only have a tusk nut or a Graphtec nut if they were already existing. I may replace one if it was an existing one that failed, rather than replace with what it was. But I'm not that I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I just would go with bone nut, or because I've built enough confidence in the polycarbonate nuts that if you cut them correctly and you put some lube in there, they're good. They're as good as most bone nuts. I mean, almost.
So Jay Santiago is asking if Presley's got locking tuners on.
No, I don't typically do, because I do a lot of vintage style stuff. When you buy a guitar from me, unless we specifically decide to go modern, I tend to do a vintage style build for the most part. It's what I enjoy. I'll do. Well, you mean not, yeah. Anyway, I'll just do. I don't do locking tuners typically. I just wrap I do like the vintage, poke them in, wrap them around. Those are good. Fine by me. Fine by me.
So how long does it take you to cut a nut from scratch when you're doing that? Eddie asks.
Between an hour to an hour and a half, depending. Because nowadays I don't work at the shop, Eddie. I work in my own shop. So everything that used to like take an hour when you're under the gun takes like 4 hours. Because you're like not getting paid to do it, because you're like, oh, I think I'll do it. Oh, look at the birdie. Oh, hey, my dog, stop barking out there, dog. Like other stuff that you wouldn't do when you're at the real shop, you can get it done in an hour, and plus that shop was set up I mean, my shop set up cool, but that shop had like everything. You could reach within like 40 feet. There was everything you could ever need. So you just do stuff way quicker when every tool is tuned in and working well. You go into those chisels, and all those chisels were sharp. Every size was good to go. You just go bam, bam, done. That was fun stuff.
I'm a little concerned about Bo's past, considering this comment.
What did Bo say? Okay. I do have a box full of nuts and multi-drawer storage box. Oh, I missed it. Storage box from back in the day. Well, you pull them out, right? If you're switching them out. I have a box full of the plastic ones. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And Scott says he'd rather have a 0 fret if he doesn't have a locking nut.
0 frets are so not done as much as they should be, could be, and are cool and are great, especially if you know how to, you kind of have to cut the 0 fret down to the perfect heights if you want it to be perfect, and you can do it. And that's what, it takes.
So Eddie has a follow-up question. He says, well, and what is your rate as a luthier? And does it make economical sense to have someone else do it for you, or should you learn how to do it yourself? I guess
you should learn how to do it yourself if you're interested in it, and you're like doing things with your hands, because it's a very satisfying, soothing, like carving, like whittling. It's like the same thing. You're starting with a block and you're ending up with this beautiful thing, hopefully beautiful thing, that you look at all the time, that's in your guitar, and that is all polished out, and you can make the ends. You can do it how you want. You can make the ends a little bit more ball rounded. You can make the ends, make it look like your first guitar. Like our shop had a standard, and it had to be this kind of almost flat, kind of modern looking cut that he would do. And I would always get dinged because I kind of would have it looking more like an old Strat, his shop, his standards, but still, like, I get it. And he made me so good by pushing me to be able to do it that way. But do it the way you like it, and have fun with it.
So Vox Guitar Rock says his 1966 Framus Dreadnought had a 0 fret.
Hell yeah.
All those old Framuses have a 0 fret.
Yeah, it's a smart thing, right? Were invented by people that couldn't cut nuts correctly. Oh, man. Well, I mean, yeah, even though if you want to play a 0 fret, we used to basically cut them like you'd cut a nut, maybe leave them a couple thousandths higher, but you'd go into the fret with the file and make the groove. If it was a crazy tall 0 fret, if it was acceptable, if it's within, the standards, you'd leave it alone.
So I mean, so if you're given if you had a choice, you know, but given a choice, you would still prefer the bone nut. Is that just a traditional thing, or is it actually does it actually perform better than say a Graft Tech or a Tusk nut? Or
No, it might be the opposite, maybe, because the more development and technology has probably gone into Graphtech and Tusk, or at least they'll probably say that to you. But like, um, there's the land of diminishing returns, right? And you don't at some point you how much performance do you need, right? And like I just kind of do it. So I also have the connection with even though my stepdad wasn't like a luthier, he knew and messed with a lot of guitars, and it's pretty obvious if you look at the acoustic that I have from him that he did that nut, and it's not the greatest, but it's like, all right, if he's doing bone nuts, that's what I'm going to do too. Yeah, so I guess it is sentimental, right? I mean, it'll be.
Well, that's the thing I kind of always really wondered about, because all your traditional guys will tell you, well, you need a bone nut, but that's kind of just in my mind it was always because that's what had been done before, right? On all your old American guitars, they would all have bone nuts on them, but
until that ceramic stuff, came
around,
the guitar industry in itself has always been about, for the most part, how can we make this faster, cheaper, quicker, and make more money? It's rarely, only in the last, there's always been the exceptions, but I mean, it's rarely infused with the opposite. How can we make this the best it can be and fair price? So, but it is out there now because people finally caught on. They're like, I want a good guitar at a semi-fair price, but you got to pay.
And so Terry 3G says, having to replace a nut or two on some used guitars I picked up, and a few build that the neck came without a nut.
Mm-hmm.
You learned from Boudreaux Guitars to measure your fret height on the nut in file. I'm not sure what he's...
So what you would do with your calipers, if you have a set of calipers, it has a little drop down. If you have a pretty good pair, it'll drop down at the bottom of the handle. Mm-hmm. So you would go to your fret and measure in the center of the fret, get a few fret heights to make sure you're probably around, of tiny frets, 30 thou, tall frets, 50 thousandths of an inch. And then you want to cut that nut down to be 20 thousandths above that. So cut that down to 70 thousandths above the top of the fretboard. And then you can start doing your slots from there. Cut your slots down. There's a whole thing. Guess what I got on it, Charles? I got a checklist.
Yeah. I know you do.
Yeah, I got a nut making checklist that I got from Jeff Luttrell doing his class on how to build them. And so there's a whole process that he has that is the perfect process if you follow it to the T. It can also be used in, you can just roll through it and kind of, not like you're skipping part of it, but there's a few different ways you can do it. Typically what I find is a good place to cut it down to is like the height of the fret rocker, which I think is, I forget how thick that is, but I haven't made a nut in a little while. I should probably do one this weekend because I got a bunch of blanks, and the champagne sparkle kind of needs one, so maybe I'll do that.
You should do a video as long as you're at it. Some content.
I mean, but there's so many videos out there with people doing the bone nut videos that are already doing it better than me. What am I going to do? Show them how to do it wrong, or how to lose a finger with Seth Presley as he cuts it. I know. That's why I appreciate what you do when you're out there in the workshop. I've never hasn't been my joy. Hasn't been like, oh, let's record me working on a guitar. I don't know. Maybe I'll get there. I did buy the secondary little camera. If I can get to the point where I can have that going down, and then I can chit chat randomly, like with ADD into a camera while I work on a guitar, that might get me to do that shit.
I just have, I have learned the hard way that I'm going to need to just do the work I'm going to do and just shoot it and not think about shooting it and just talk to myself. I'm just having a conversation with myself at this point.
Yep. I haven't done any work for so long. I mean, because number one, I just been not ordering parts for a little while. Just, life gets so busy, and I'm working 7 days a week. So I just don't want to overdo it. I want to work right now, wait till summertime rolls around, kind of throttle back a little bit. I'll have a bunch of time off. Then I'll be building some shit because I'll have saved up a little money. I can buy the parts I want. And also the necks that I want to build with have been out of stock. Those really nice flamed maple have been out of stock in almost every capacity.
So R2, R3 locking nut. He says nut sauce or graphite. Discuss.
Nut sauce all day. Nut sauce all day.
And why is that?
Because we had it in the shop and we didn't use graphite, and I just had become confident in it because it worked so well for me for years, for 4 years or 3.5, 4 years. So I bet you graphite works great. People probably swear by it.
My go-to has been graphite just because I always have a pencil around, right? And
yeah, graphite is dirty. Graphite will show like this guy doesn't have nut sauce. I'm just saying,
all right.
I would prefer to use, even if it's, I've even used Neosporin in a pinch. Hey, if you got to use Neosporin, whatever.
So if you're using nut sauce, do you need to replace it more frequently than graphite, or about the same? Or
I just do it every string change. Every string change is when I would do it, unless in between string changes something was being funny with me. Then I might get in there and inspect it, and that might be part of the process after going through everything and make sure it's lubed up. But every string change. Yep.
Randy's got a philosophy of he operates on that basis of if it sounds good, I don't mess with it, and he doesn't really have any super cheap guitars anymore. So,
yeah. Randy, yes, don't bring me your guitar that you love and is perfect, and ask me to do some shit, because I will send you home with your beloved perfect guitar. And with a long talking to, because people will come in, they're like, I want to do this. This guitar is so great if it only did this. But you're like, but it does this, this, and this. Yes. Well, fucking find a different great guitar, my friend, because all you're going to do is potentially fuck up a guitar that is already good doing 3 things. Let it do that. Let it live in that court and go find something else. And I know I'm talking to myself out of business sometimes, but that talks you into more business down the road, because what are they going to do with the other guitar when they buy it? They're going to bring it to you to do something to make that one right. But you want to lead people in the right direction, and you don't want to touch shit that people love and try to change it for them. Or at least you go in preloaded with, hey, dude, I told you. All we're going to do is.
And Jay Santiago is asking if you would chisel string nuts or file them.
We would file them. Or we would use them on so a lot of people, you will use a file. I definitely use a hand file in the making of it, but a lot of people will use a belt sander, and they'll go out and they'll have it lined up, and they'll just hold it down onto that belt sander until it's like right down to the line. And then they have really good hand-eye coordination and years of skill to be able to like bend the edges up and get them perfectly rounded. I've had success with that, but I've also had failure with that, where it goes across the hole and then flies and you never find it. It's like that thing is gone in the ether. I'm never gonna find that nut and then you find it's broken anyway. So I go most of the way with a file, because it doesn't take me that long, and I like the handwork. Now I'm doing it for my passion, and I don't have to be fast with it. So.
Welcome in, Rob Blackmore official. That's right, Ben. I'm not stealing your whole explanation of his name there. Not doing it. Just not doing it.
Don't do it.
But welcome in,
Ben. I had so much fun hanging the other night. That was fantastic. Thank you guys so much for coming and chilling. Especially congratulations on 5150. It's probably 5750 now. We're gonna have to do that 60. What are we doing? 6505. 6505 hangout coming soon. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jay Santiago says there's plenty of string nut tutorials, but the difference would be yours, right? Dude, so please go ahead and post one.
That's so funny. So I would start off with this, like warning at the beginning. Of warning: if you wanted to make a nut and get an A, skip to the next video. If you're okay with getting a B, stick with me, because we're gonna do this pretty well. It's not gonna be fucking perfect, but
welcome in, Zach Thong.
Yeah, that's how I roll. I'll take you straight from an A to a B, but you'll have a better time getting the B than you would have had getting the A. Everybody copy and paste anyway nowadays, Charles.
Mm-hmm. So Bose uses that Diodario lube. It comes in a little syringe with tiny little brushes.
Mm-hmm.
Fancy.
Astroglide. I took it out of my mom's drawer. No, I'm kidding. That's a little bit true, but anyway, no, not Astroglide. I use the and I don't use nut sauce, although we used to use nut sauce. Now I use the stuff from Music Nomad, which is called testicle lubricant. They finally named it correctly. Yeah, I mean, this thing is and you can use it on guitars, but it's actually built for testicles. So
8:32.
We made it 31 minutes, Charles. Sorry.
8:32. Yeah.
Well, also you can buy this stuff down at the bicycle store for the guys that ride the 10 speeds all the time, right? And they got that stuff that works really well too. Yeah, it's chafing avoidance. Yeah. I didn't name it, guys. I didn't name it, Ryan. Zach, I didn't name it. It's it's on that marketing team. That marketing team came up. It was a whole round table they were discussing.
So why don't know if you have ever done a brass nut?
I have. Oh my God, dude. If you ever are intaking a guitar, Charles, for a guitar business, it does behoove you to freaking notice a brass nut and a brass saddles on the bridge on a Olympic bass that probably cost, $6 or $7 grand minimum. It took forever. It took me half of my day, not forever, 4 hours though, 3.5 hours if you take my breaks. I think I had a burrito during that time. You gotta have burritos. I mean, you can't go the whole anyway. So I think about 3.5 hours doing a brass nut that seemed like it seems like he had bought the guitar out of something like it came out after they closed or something happened and it wasn't quite done. Because it was a fantastic guitar that just wasn't quite done. And so the nut wasn't done and the saddles hadn't been cut. So the radius was all off and it was weird. It was all kind of wonky. Dude, once we set that thing up, it was like a Cadillac Ferrari. You can't call it a Ferrari because it was so heavy, right? It's like, it was very heavy, but it was like a very, very nice guitar. It took forever. Never do it again. Don't do it. But great stuff once you have it in place. Yeah. Scott, you are so right? Self-policing. But you know what? You got to let it go. You got to be yourself. You got to do. I actually feel like I should sometimes just once a day a week, I should hang out with Ted Nugent. Hang out with Charles so much. Just saying, should hang out with Ted.
That's a different experience.
I know, totally different. But I'm up for it. I want to see the other side. Yeah, I know. So much. I have oh man. All right. You want to know my life a little bit?
Just don't mention your almond milk, okay?
Dude, so one of my coworkers at school, he made a little sign that's like a little shh emoji face shh for our kid, one of our kids that just can't stop talking. And so on the other side of that faces me, he wrote word limit coming to me. So he puts it out, it's like shh, word limit. Like, oh, all right, I get it, word limit. But hey, R2, R3 locking nut.
All right, so the whole locking nut thing, right? This is for when you've got a trem like a Floyd, right? So explain to me how this all works, because it's a new one to me.
Why it works? It works fantastically well. Once your stuff is locked in and set up well and intonated and you got the right relief in your neck, a trem is fantastic. Love it. But I mean, a locking trem like a Floyd they're amazing. But I don't mess with them. Yes, Hobo Roadie, Hagar does live right by me. Like, my address is 150 Tamalpais Drive, Fairfax, California. My wife hates that. But why? People send me shit all the time. None of you guys send me stuff, really. But you know who does send me stuff? The Church of Latter-day Saints, or the DMV, or I get a lot of mailers coming in that aren't that. I mean, so I might as well give it out to the people I like. So,
and you're always getting mail from Sherman's lawyers.
oh my God, I know it's the stuff in China. They haven't figured it out. Hey, can I play a song that I've been doing all day, please?
Sure. Right. Let me go ahead. Let me get the echo cancellation before you do, though.
I only do it because we're monetized. I'm only doing this because we're not monetized. This is Metallica. I've been like on a Metallica kick. This is pretty terrible, guys. Tell me how bad I am. Goes, what is it? So let it be written, so let it be done. I'm gonna learn the rest of it, Charles. But I just had that. Sorry, stuck in my head.
Ryan, that's the winning comment of the night, buddy.
What did Ryan say?
I'm not telling you. You're just gonna have to watch the replay.
Hold on. At least he stops talking when he plays. Yeah. Hold on. That's not true, dude. Yeah. Well, I can't sing and play that song. That's not even right. So let it be written. So let it be done. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Let it be done. Wait. I don't know. Brian, you got to come to my house and teach me now.
Uh-oh.
There we rock too hard. I know. I'm saying sometimes I rock too hard. The whole house shook. The earth stopped. Sometimes when I play power chords, that'll happen. It affects the time continuum.
Well, Jay Santiago is saying the best floating vibrato that he used is a Wilkinson with locking tuners. Every locking nut kills the help of the headstock tone and sustain.
True. I have a Wilkinson trem, like a floating trem that I like that has those little, it's like the little slide back, individual slide backs. And then you can there's a screw, you can set the height on them. They're pretty cool. They come on a lot of inexpensive guitars.
Seth, you've gotten the invite.
Dude, that would be so funny because it would be like, okay, when the loop comes around my time, guys, can we slow it down and make it only 3 chords? No, I will, especially if there's any way, dude. Ryan, it'd be really helpful to a special ed guy if you could send me the tracks that you're going to work on that you're going to play before I come home, shred them a couple times, figure out, like, write down, all right, start on the 7th fret and do this scale. Then I could, like, not look terrible, because I do have the feeling in my heart on what note to bend. Usually I'll figure out. Charles has heard me play. Sometimes I'm in the pocket, right, Charles?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I feel it. But then there's other times I just lose it. And then I say to the camera, oh, I lost it there. Because that's how I learn, is I just go around there and I fool around until you get burned. It's like love, Charles. You got to play the scales of love until your heart gets burned and you hit the wrong note. And then you learn that the right chord is the Sarah chord. Mm-hmm. Well, not for you, buddy. For you, the different chord. You don't even play that chord for me, man. Come on. And come on, Ryan. You're a shredder. Stay away from that chord. Sorry. It's happy hour. 40 minutes in. 40 minutes in. Whew, this is great.
So in the chat, what is your preferred nut material?
Yeah, hey guys, what are all your nuts made out of? And
A
Scott,
lot of these guys had big.
hold on,
brass
Charles.
ones.
I gotta tell Scott, I didn't do the goat for you. Scott,
Thanks, River Docs. Appreciate you being here, buddy.
dude, River. I wonder. There's a 92.6% chance he's wearing tie-dye. That looks good, like a bright colored pimpin' tie-dye. I'll wear tie-dye next week if I had a good one.
It's too big, too good, Combs. I had to put it up. Too good.
Ben says certain chords you only play at home. Yep. Yeah, get away with that chord every now and then.
So Terry likes the Tusk nuts.
I don't blame you, Terry. I don't blame you. They stay in tune.
Product of Canada, you know.
Oh, they're a product of Canada.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tusk up there under the tundra. The tundra has tusk where it's plentiful. We mine it. We mine the tusk.
See, Scott likes the goat. It's funny. So, are you going to bring the goat out again?
Well, the goat's name is Eddie because it has. If you notice, look at this goatee. All right, is that not? That's very reminiscent. Oh, wait, actually, that kind of looks like one of our viewers. Trev, I'm not saying you got the goat face. It's not true. But you got that beard that's just, if I could do it, I would. My beard stops getting good around here. It starts getting weird and floppy. Tusk self-lubricating. Yep, that is another. Well, do they, I guess they probably make all the versions of it because once you have a proprietary material, you might as well sell it. Self-lubricating, anything that sounds better, right, always sells. Walrus tusk, hey, I'd try it. Send me one. I'll throw it in there. Although, hold on. With all the problems we had with rosewood and shipping your guitars, God knows trying to ship something that's walrus tusk, that might become a problem. Yep. Graphtech, just over the bridge. Oh, wow, that's cool. Huh. That's very cool. Although, that's like, even though they're into guitar, I don't know if I'd be like, I want to work at the Graphtech factory. Because then it's like, they're just molding plastic all day and like probably very few guitars in the house. But who knows? I don't know. Maybe it's a great place to work. Could be top 10 facility. I should look into it. I'm guessing a walrus tusk is pretty much like exactly right. Well, you know, I've got these American eagle claw inlays, and you know, I'll tell you what does work really good is dolphin beak. If you can get yourself a baby dolphin beak in there, boy, that stuff never goes out of tune. You know, it's not the most eco-friendly. Or we don't want to piss off the dolphin people, Charles. They will.
No, we don't. No,
right? They will come to your house. They are some of the people that love the dolphins and the whales are some of the most motivated defenders that are out there. Because you know, tree people too. People climb a tree and like, I'm not leaving this tree, and then it's anyway. But I mean, that's fucking crazy. But then the people that are out in the boats. Splash, splash. You can't do this. And then the people in the big ass ships are like, would you look at those fucking idiots?
So R2, R3 Locking Nut says the Graphtech saddles in his Fender Strat, they rock. And so, you know, I'm curious, R2, did those come with the Strat or did you replace them out yourself? And if it is it worth the expense, do you think?
I think they are. I've seen them. I've used them before. I actually saw on Guitar Fetish, they finally have the set of 6 roller saddles. So you can get, and they're like $10 for the set of 6. So, and they're good quality. They're almost hip shot quality. Hip shot here, they're here. And you want to talk, you know, improvement in tuning stability. That really helps. Save a tree, eat a beaver.
Oh boy. Okay, so R2 replaced him, and he hasn't broken a string, so it's well worth it. Well,
yep, totally. Yep. Will could sing locking saddles. Yep, those are good. They take a little minute to set up, especially the one with the risers. There's ones with the 2 Allen bolts that'll kind of drive you crazy. But then again, once they're set, you're good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Some comments you gotta skip. Some of my strats have a LSR nuts, yes, which are loser nuts. I'm a loser, baby, so why don't you kill me? Get funky with the cheese whiz.
So so when you look a while back, we kind of talked about brass nuts for a minute, right? For half a minute. Okay, and so if I'm putting a brass nut on a guitar, what am I looking for that to do? What is the real benefit of that?
It looks cool. You can tell people, check out this brass nut. And it's heavy. So if you're into sustain, interesting fact, the other day on Highline Guitars, again, he was talking about sustain and how most people tend to go towards, we want long sustain. We want our guitar to ring out. And I've really always been in that ballpark. It was interesting. It got me to thinking, because I've always been building my guitars with the mindset of, I want this thing to sustain and fucking ring out. I want it to sound like a Les Paul when you do a big power chord. But then he's encountered customers that play very fast staccato and a lot of stuff using, very high-end ability, that want a guitar that doesn't sustain that much. They feel like it rings out too much into the next note, which is very interesting. So maybe there's the opposite side of that. So
I guess so. It's which part of that equation are you really looking for?
Yeah, I think nowadays fast players do want, because you can make a note sustained with your electronics anyway. You can, so if you want to play fast and you want your guitar's tone to respond quickly to the fast playing, you don't want every previous note to sustain forever. You want to move it along, Eddie. Move it along, Eddie. Why are trumpets and saxophone made of brass? Good question.
There is a tonal quality of the air moving through the instrument, right, through the mouthpiece, and all that. And I've played saxophones that have been steel. I've played the ones that are all full brass, and it's a much warmer tone.
Carbon fiber? Are they doing that a carbon fiber yet?
That wasn't my experience. I stopped playing saxophone before those kind of things came out.
No, all kinds of stuff keeps coming out. Like I stopped snowboarding on the regular 8 years ago, and now the boards are completely different. They've got these different convex shapes to them that my brother was like, "Oh, dude, you don't even fucking know." It's like, wow, come on, give me a break. I can't afford lift it. Oh, carbon. Wait, hold on, Guitar Man 45. Sorry, Scott.
I thought that would do that for you.
Oh man, hold on. I was just about to multitask for a second here. Carvin DC 160 has a brass. I have a brass nut and a brass setup on my Carvin DC. Yeah. I've seen all of Detroit. It's beautiful. That's great. I love that. Yeah, I love my Carvin. I should break it out and take it out and play it. I will take it out and play it. And Epiphone, Les Paul Standard, Sixter. Oh, beautiful. Wait, hold on. We have a Safari winner. You and Safari, we're coming to your house. Please buy us lunch and then send us home.
Oh my.
Where do you live? Where does he live? The guy who's buying us lunch.
I don't know.
Come on. That's okay.
Oh, well.
That's amazing. He wins an Epiphone. That's beautiful. That's fantastic. I want it.
Goodbye.
Sold my favorite Epiphone, and I'll never get it back. I should do the Road of Tears one day and show because they're on reverb, and the back on that, the top was amazing too. It was one of those Epiphones that was like made by a master builder teaching the other kids how to make them. And I mean kids in China.
Yeah, so BC Rich, he has that aluminum graphite neck base with a brass nut that's fully adjustable, but it can be only be raised by shimming, and so it's a real kind of a hassle, right?
Yes, but once that's another thing. Once it's set up and good to go, that's like solid for real. That's like Cadillac, right? That's like Cadillac. It's like heavy and good to go. Wow, that's beautiful.
Oh, Terry.
Well, when you get your nuts replaced, they have to leave you something. So they give you brass nuts. Right. Yes, you have them installed in case of missing.
And Randy has 4 Epiphones and he loves them all.
Epiphone's killing it. Yes. There's a kid.
Where do you think we might go next week? You have any ideas about topic for next week?
Well, we talked about nuts this week. I think next week we talk about titties, because that's one of my favorite things. Not guitar related necessarily, but everybody wants to have at least 2 of them, and that's kind of like guitars. You could also do this, like I do this.
How about we stick to guitar related?
Oh, right. We could do, I don't know, that's way ahead of the game. I got playing with Presley's before that, and usually we come up with something fun. Someone will come and hang out and inspire us. Like this was gifted to us on a silver platter. Someone said, "Hey, here's the Guitar Safari idea. It's nuts." And I said, "Charles, if we don't take that idea, we would be nuts." Because be able to
I think this was Trev's idea last week.
Thank you, Trev. Yeah. That's right. Eddie's very thankful. I'm Sky Pilot. I used to be Sky Pilot. Used to fly all the time. You guys you probably seen my other YouTube channel. You looked up Seth Presley, didn't you? Yep.
Well, folks, if you do have an idea for next week's show, what would you like, to hear Seth and I talk about? You can either put it into chat, or you could put it in the comments later, or you could email us. Or
did the band on the Titanic actually play? That's bullshit. They didn't play while those motherfuckers were swimming. They grabbed their shit when it started to get wet. They're like, oh, because if you got a really nice stand-up bass, you're not just gonna play as the boat goes down. No, that was for the movies. They kicked over somebody and were like, save my bass. And then the keyboard player, no one cared about the keyboard player. So he did go down with the ship because, keys. They were just kind of annoying. They finally got rid of, what was that guy keyboard player's name on the Titanic? Was it Tony?
I don't know. So there's an idea floating in the chat. I should just let you ramble next week.
I'm telling you, just random rambling seems to pay off. I'm just saying.
Maybe we do that, and every 30 seconds I call out a new topic and see what you do with it.
New topic, flash. So, shiny object. I was thinking we could start trying to shoot a little tiny bit of content outside of Guitar Safari, and then bring it into, like, I'm going to go down, I think, because I just don't have any damn time off. But on my way home, I think I want to stop by. We have a little thrift store down by my house that I've never been in. It's like right down the street. And I want to go in there and see if there's anything that I can get from that thrift store that I can incorporate in some kind of Guitar Safari idea or project.
So Randy has an idea. He says we could talk about discussing bands that we love to see but can't anymore.
Yeah.
And Ryan is saying we could talk to Quentin. We could talk about Quentin in his pots that work backwards.
Does he have left-handed pots in his?
Well, no, he did a pickup swap on his super shredder, and when he put it back in, the tone pots were operating backwards.
This is the Guitar Safari Dagger. My brother gave us the Guitar Safari Dagger that we can do. We could do Guitar Sacrifice now if we need to, or somebody, because you never know when someone's going to try to jack you on safari. So you got to have a dagger ready to go. So I'm ready to go. I'm equipped for the fight.
Dave is running out on us with 5 minutes left. He's got to run, he said, but it was a great show. So thank you very much, Dave.
Big Wave Dave, you are the man. Big Wave Dave, how many boards do you have left? I know you're probably leaving. If you've already logged off, that's fine. You can say it in the comments later, because we all save a couple, right? We don't get rid of all of the boards. You got to save the real dealios. I gave the best quiver to my best friend who still rides them, but I saved one for when I get back into it. Anyway.
This is a cool idea. Safari Scrapyard Wars. Who can find and turn crap into the coolest playable, most playable guitar?
I love that. I've got a bunch of shit. So actually, Charles, we could do that. We could build a guitar out of a bunch of shit. I could go through my parts bin. Why don't we do that? I'll go through my parts bin and we'll pull out and we'll just try to build, because I've got this really cool body that I don't want to show it off. It's a little bit embarrassing. The relic job on it is horrible, but it's kind of cool at the same time. Why not?
We are due for another project together. Eddie Faye's got another cool idea. How about talking about little annoying things about guitars?
Oh, God. Yes. So this needs more work to the relic job. It's really bad. But it's so
I love this. Dennis Ellis is saying, unstripe a Frankie.
So we could do something with this. Since it's already a swimming pool route, what I was going to do was completely route out the entire rest of the body and make it into an acoustasonic. It's a big swimming pool route. I tried to relic Polly, and that was me learning that you can't relic Polly. You know what, guys? Go ahead and have fun. Have fun. All right. We all learn. You can go ahead. You can. We're close enough, right? We're friends enough to where I would just walk away now from the barbecue for 10 minutes, let everybody discuss how terrible this is, and then I would come back, and then it would hopefully be over because you guys. But I was just thinking maybe we do a project with that. Build this humiliating relic. I got other guitars we could do too.
So Ryan did a safari tonight as well. So we got a couple of folks that have been safari. Michael Cross did a quick safari. He got a Tech 21 Power Engine 60 for 125. And Ryan said he did a safari tonight as well. He may show it off on the Sunday show.
What is the Power Engine 60? Sorry,
it's an amp.
Oh, Power Engine by who?
Tech 21.
Oh, so it's like just a clean platform?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But Ryan is also suggesting you put a trans trem in that body.
So that would be funny, right? That would be like putting a Audi Quattro putting an Audi Quattro drivetrain in the Geo is what that would be like. Yeah. Well, would it? I mean, does it fit in any 6-point trem? It just replaces any 6-point trem. That would be hilarious. We could route out the rest of the body. I was going to put on a veneer over it to make it acoustasonic-like, but still with electric pickups. Maybe just run in a acoustic style pickup as well, so you have it on a blend. And then I wasn't thinking trans trim or anything, but we could do something cool. So maybe by the time we see this next week, I will have routed out the rest of the interior of the body to make it to where we could do it like a acoustasonic.
Ryan, I guess you guys are not going live after all tonight?
What?
You're not seeing the show up?
Well, I thought they were going up. You said somebody was going up after us with some cool
stuff. Ryan was. Yeah, the OU2 crew were considering going live tonight after us, but I don't see a show on the channel.
Well, let's wait. He said
they're still Ryan's saying they're still deciding.
Well, hold on, Ryan. Let's take a consensus here. We got 31 people hanging out. We all know that typically around when we don't go much over an hour. Usually that you and you got to feed kids. Typically, I got to feed the dog. Typically, but then when I go up there, what I start doing is watching Ryan or watching whoever's on right after. Usually, So if you're going to go live, that's cool because I would tune in.
Well, watch your notifications, folks, because they're still trying to figure out if they're going to go live or not. They kind of had an idea for something. They just weren't sure whether it was going to work out. Yep. So I didn't want, it's 9:00. I didn't want us to leave and not have it out there, right? Not be able to have that link to send them over to.
Mm-hmm. Feed the kids to the dog. I don't have the kids, but I do have the dog. Oh wait, Charles. Here's the thing: Charles's kids would probably eat my dog. Right? They're much bigger than my little dog. It'd be a little meal. It'd be yummy. It'd be a delicious little puppy meal. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So Gear Junkie 35. He's been collecting ARAD equipment. He got 17 rack units, so which is really nice. And here, hold on, there is more on that. I showed it really quick before, but check that out.
ART equipment. Well, ART tube echo preamp, 8-channel mic preamp. 100. Wow. So here's the thing: people are giving away rack gear as people die. Family members are stuck with stuff that they don't know what to do with. And a lot of times the guitars will go off because those are the most liquid items, right? People will, you have your uncle had a Gibson. Oh, I'll buy that. But usually they're like, oh, he had some rack equipment too. No, everybody's got their own thing. So you can get that stuff dirt cheap and it's amazing stuff. And if you like that, that's cool. Yep. I mean, I should build a rack. I should build the rack that I wanted. There was a rack, I wanted some things back in the day that I couldn't afford, and it'd be cool to build that now. Mm-hmm. ART equipment, cool stuff. That's the website where you're getting it? That's great. Good to know.
All right, folks. Well, it's that time. We're at 9:02. We're past our time a little bit. Damn. But we want to thank y'all for being here, right? Yes. Because we don't have a show without y'all being here. We're ending up the show here with 30 people in. I know that at one time we had 36 in. So it's been another great Friday night. So we appreciate everyone in the chat.
Text me, email me, call me. You want to come on Playing with Presley's? Come on. We don't even play that much. We just talk, don't we, Charles? We just kind of hang out. But anyway, we just come on play with and actually chatting with Charles. What do you got? What do you got, Charles?
Chatting with Charles. I have Sean Hockey coming on with me.
Yes.
And I'm really jazzed about it. We've had a conversation, and I think people are really going to enjoy him.
Yep, I'm sure. That's great. We get to learn about another one of our brethren of the guitar community where we hang out. And I've had a lot of great comments this week with people that are part of the community that said, what's up, or like one of my videos. So thank all you guys really so much for watching the stupid ass little shorts that I send out. Thank you, Charles, brother, for hanging out with me and putting up with me for another hour. Right? The check is in the mail. You'll get it. Actually, I did send you my address, didn't I?
Okay. You did, and you have a package that is on its way.
Wait, you didn't send me your nuts, did you? Sorry, I had to. I mean, come on. I know we're 4 minutes over, but I thought I'd squeeze one more nut joke in there. All right. Hey, we love you guys.
Come on, people. Charles and me. About to take you on guitar safari. So turn on your computer, turn on your phone, 'cause it's about to go down. One volume, one tone. Yeah, Charles and me. We're about to take you on guitar safari. Turn on your computer,